No one asks her, Caitlin, how are you taking this? The nastiness that you guys are doing is obvious. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if this is not your first time. This is Raquel here with the Rah Report. How's everyone doing? I hope you guys are all doing amazing. I do want to start off this video by first and foremost saying thank you for all the new subscribers, plus all the nice and supportive comments that you guys have left me. I am really trying to do my best to kind of give you guys, some explanations plus proof of where and why my opinions are formed as they are. So that brings us to today's video. Everyone keeps saying focus on the numbers, not about hoops, drama, yada, right? And it's truly like the WNBA refuses to just focus on the positivities. That's just not what they're about. They're just never going to actually want to focus on the good. Let's go ahead and break it down for what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the most recent campaign against Caitlin Clark. But again, we're going back to the playbook of Caitlin Clark fans and how Caitlin Clark still hasn't done enough to condemn all of these scary racist fans. Now, once again, I'm going to start this off by saying, as a black person, I do not and will not ever support anyone who is racist, sexist, misogynist, or anything of that nature, who harasses, throws racial slurs, to people, or anything of that nature, or is hateful and just ridiculous or trolls. I do not support that. It is ridiculous. No one deserves that. I don't care how much you don't like the person. I don't care if they've said something. I don't even care if they themselves are it. What you choose to do is a reflection of who you are, not of the other person. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Let's discuss what happened recently. So as you guys know by now, the playoffs started the first round, and the Connecticut Sun faced the Fever, and the Fever got swept, right? Caitlin Clark had a very bad opening game. She just was not shooting well, and it was like, I don't know if it was just like, playoff jitters or whatever the case may be, but again, she is a rookie. That was her very first playoff game ever, and they defended her very well, and she just was not making shots, and she's missing some open shots. She just wasn't herself, and plus the entire team, including like Kelsey Mitchell, just did not show herself very well in that first game as well. And unfortunately for Kelsey, nor was it the second game. She just had a very bad series. It happens, it sucks, but you were dealing with a team with the Sun, who are a very good team, very great defensively. They have Alyssa Thomas, who had got a triple-double in the first game. Mayberry went off. You can't stop Mayberry, Alyssa Thomas, and then of course you have Bonner too. So Fever in fact did get swept, but in that second game, Caitlin Clark was Caitlin Clark again, and she did what another record, only rookie ever in a playoff game to score at least 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. That wasn't her actual points. I think she ended up with 26, 9, and 6. But she shot well in that second game, and I'm just proud of her because she played really good. Also, shout out to Aaliyah Boston because she did play very strong. Even in the first game, she tried to bring them back in the second half. It just wasn't enough. The Sun were just too good, and every time the Fever got even a little bit close, they were like, nope, sorry, shooting lights out, and boom, boom, bye, as you know. So that's that, and as of right now, the Fever did advance as well as with the Lynx. The Lynx played the Mercury. I do not want to go into that series because this video is not about the series. It's just like a quick sub to why I'm even bringing it up. Also, the Liberty break the Dream, and they advanced, and then of course the Aces beat. Who did the Aces play again? Wow. I'm drawing a blank. Anyways, I'll put it down there. And they advance as well. I did watch the series. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. But now the tougher series will start. But let's the reason for this video. So the reason for this video is after advancing to the second round, Connecticut had their, statements about, post-game interview. And at that time, Alyssa Thomas decides that she wasn't going to focus on her team winning. She wasn't going to say she feels good about that. She was going to take that moment and call out Caitlin Clark fans.
A lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base.
And all the hatred, racism, racial slurs, and different things that she's experienced as a player from, again, the Fever fan base, aka Caitlin fans and whatnot. So the crazy part about it is that Alyssa Thomas knew what she was doing. Again, I'm not saying you can't voice your opinion and you shouldn't, because you should. You definitely should. No one deserves the hate. I understand that. But I also understand that the WNBA has never had this many fans and eyeballs on them and views and different things of that nature. Now, I know what people are going to say when I say this. Yes, there are two sides to each story. There's two different things. There's the fans who are like, criticizing, but maybe they don't take it too far. And then there's the fans who are like trolls, who are hateful, who are nasty, who are going to just take it too far. They're going to send death threats. They're going to do all kind of crazy stuff. Every single sport in all of the world experiences fandom where it takes it too far. I don't care what sport it is. You always have fans who are just never good fans. I've already said this, but here we are again addressing the nastiness that is Caitlin Clark fans, right? Only Caitlin Clark fans. It's no other fans in the WNBA does anything, which is a bunch of lies. They continue to try to push that narrative. I don't even know why they do, but they do. So Alyssa Thomas goes out and says this, right? In the biggest stage and moment, because she knew what she was trying to do. They're pushing a thing. And I was just like, we're back to this again. And then it becomes this big moment. And then Adria from ESPN says this thing like, the league that's been struggling to grow and hasn't had the ability to make money ever in any season, when they finally get a season where they're actually getting revenue and people are paying attention, they've done nothing but complain about people paying attention. They've tried to gatekeep how you're supposed to view the women's game. They've tried to gatekeep how you can praise certain players, and they've tried to gatekeep even how reporters ask questions, which I'll get into that because I'll tell you my point of view on the whole Christine Brenneman, and if I'm saying it right, saying her name wrong, pardon me, but they've literally do not understand what it means to have eyes on you and what it means to be famous, to be known, because anybody famous and known will definitely tell you that it is an unfortunate part of fame or any type of notoriety. You get people who are miserable, who are nasty, who are condescending, who just sit around and troll all day because they have nothing else to do, right? So I've given the WNBA players grace because this is the first time that they've ever been in a situation, in a position to have fans at this scale. So they're just completely, I guess, oblivious to what people do when they start paying attention. And once again, they fell in every aspect. The players, the leadership, everything. It is just insane how bad they have handled this season and how bad they have handled getting any attention at all. Like, any. I didn't finish the Adria story from ESPN because she said on ESPN, we're going to accept that if this league has to grow slower and we don't have to deal with all of these negative, hateful fans, then so be it. Really? Really, Adria? So you guys have not ever experienced any fans outside of this season being that way? You're full of it. You're full of it. Because it actually has been that way. As I continue to tell you guys, Sabrina was bullied. Other players have been bullied. It's not anything different. It's the scale of it is more, but it's not new. Not just to the WNBA players, but not new to sports. Now, there's two things that they just cannot understand, and it's very exhausting. When people pay attention to you, guess what, WNBA? Not everybody's going to like you. Guess what, WNBA Players Association? You cannot dictate how fans are going to react. Do I think that these fans need to relax on the hateful, racial, harassing things, death threats? Of course, common sense. But no person, no athlete, no famous person, no YouTuber, no influencer, no one can control what fans do, even to the point of stalking. You know this. So stop playing stupid and stop trying to make it seem like there's this not a known thing. Back to the point. So then the campaign continues. Brittany Griner goes on there and says how this year's been so crazy and she just this and that. We know Brittany Griner because people are paying attention. Just like they were paying attention to you being stuck in a Russian prison when we all were trying to get you out. Stop being a hypocrite. Just like we were paying attention when you just tried to punch out Rakia Jackson after you elbowed her. Yeah, we were paying attention. And then they go and you have Brittany Sky who goes and says hatred and you have to speak out. You may not want to, but you are responsible again. Mind you guys, I'm going to insert a clip because once again, Caitlin Clark spoke out on it before.
It's definitely upsetting. I don't think nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. Those aren't fans, those are trolls.
So they're continuing to say, speak out. She has spoken out. But I forget, with Caitlin Clark speaking out, she's going to cure not only racism, she's going to stop racism, but she's going to cure world hunger. She's going to make everybody else nice. She's going to stop everyone from breaking laws. She's going to do so much. And then if you point out that it's just not going to change it, unfortunately, this country is built on racism. It is unfair. It is not right. Nobody deserves, anybody in any sports do not deserve what fans think it's okay behind a screen, right? So my thing was like, hey, maybe they need to get off social media. But then I was like, that's kind of strange, because now suddenly like everyone's doing this Fever fans, and you know what your fans are doing once again, because that was the old playbook before that they started, and then she finally made a statement and it was supposedly enough, but now it's not again. You know why it's not again? Well, here's the thing, and I said this on Twitter. Once they figured out they couldn't get in Caitlin Clark's head and that she was still going to be good, and then the Fever started winning games and they started learning how to play together and they had like a good unity and you could see the team gelling and everything was going good, and then they made the playoffs. And then Caitlin was breaking all kind of records and doing her damn thing. And it was like, yo, she's doing things that no other rookie has ever done in WNBA history. Not only just rookies, but also players in general. Once they realized, we can't get in her head anymore on the court because she's actually out balling all of us. She's already leading the league in her rookie season. Damn, that hurts. She's already top 5. Damn, that sucks. They went back and they resorted back to their old ways where they antagonize her, but they blame her for stuff fans do. There is no athlete in history that has been told they are responsible for what their fans do until you reach the WNBA this year. And the nastiness of those who are covering it, the nastiness of the Players Association at times, the actual leadership in WNBA, the coaches, the reporters, you name it, all of them, right? So then after that, you then had 2 reporters go out of their way and go to the Fever game. These reporters then reported back how their life felt so in danger from how horrible it was at the Fever's game because people were so scary. And then they were just like, had a lady and she had this shirt on saying band nails, and she was just being very disgusting with her fake paper made nails. Now, yes, there was some racial undertone into what that woman did. Yes. But I've seen worse. We've seen worse in other sports. I'm not excusing it. I'm just kind of trying to get the WNBA to catch up and catch on and stop being stupid. Like, fans don't do stupid shit all the time. But then they started to act like it was this darkness and there's this fear. And I thought this was going to be a little pride party, and it was a basketball game, a playoff game with playoff intensity, and the team that they were cheering for wasn't winning the game. So maybe fans could have been a little bit upset, but cut the shit. I'm sorry, I'm gonna not cuss. Cut the crap. Cut the crap. To try to make it seem like it was the darkest event you've ever gone to is ridiculous. And the reason why I know they were not being completely honest and truthful, they both went and reported damn near the same thing. Again, made me think, like, what's going on here? What I then realized was, oh, here's their last ditch effort. This was a campaign against Caitlyn. Once again, their thing was to try to do what they do best, and that's blame Caitlyn for everything in the WNBA. It is utterly tiring, exhausting, and ridiculous. So then I'm going and I'm on Twitter and I'm just like, damn, no one speaks up for Hamby. No one spoke up for Sabrina Ionescu. No one spoke up for Skylar Diggins. And again, I'm talking about players. Sky players came on there and cried about how they were getting harassed. Not just by the racist people, but people who look like them. Right? Just like them, meaning blacks, and even their own fan base. There was no uproar. There was no help. There's a player named Candace Wiggins who had said that she was literally utilized or used for the gay players in the league kept trying to do things to her. No one spoke up for her. All these little secrets the WNBA keeps hiding under the rug. And then the only thing they want to talk about is, and the only time they want to talk about discrimination, hate comments, prejudices, or anything of that nature is when it involves Caitlin Clark or Caitlin fans as they disguise it in. You guys are so threatened by this girl that you guys are now campaigning and making it a little too obvious because, like I said, you've already used that play in your playbook. And for all the people who are like, oh, you're such a weird black girl and you're caping and pandering to white people. No. See, I see through your bullshit. I see through it. I see through what's happening here. You know why I know you guys are not all on the same campaign? Because then when Kelsey Mitchell and Erica Wheeler said, hey, that's not my experience necessarily.
Her fan base was racist.
I mean, we can't control what someone else says. Like, for the more like...
I think that for us, we err on the side of professionalism in a lot of different ways, and we can only control what's in our organization within our people. And that, I mean, me personally, we don't condone those kind of things. No matter what color you are, or whatever you carry or possess. I think for us, we focus on the basketball part, and I think that she may have had an experience that we may or may not know on her own. But I don't think that that should be labeled on us 12 or our. Who we try to represent for ourselves. And so, I respect her comment and what she has to say, but I don't think it has anything to do with us,
Yeah, and also to piggyback on that, like, we don't condone any of those things. For the more, eyes been on us since C got drafted. So for us, our ears been blocked out longer than most people, if that make any sense. So, like I've said, a comment before, like, it's a lot of things that try to come in this building and to pull us apart that we just didn't let. However, we probably got it too, we just don't care about it because what's important is this organization and us winning games, and that's what we did. So, but for the most part, we don't condone that. I don't care about it because there's a fan who probably sitting on the couch doing nothing, so I don't care.
We know people can be wrong and hateful and say bad things and, talk down on us or even maybe say racial things. But they were like, I don't condone it. We condemn it. We don't like this. You guys need to stop. They said the same thing. Then followed it up by like, but hey, I'm not going to let somebody who's a loser trolling me on the couch and doing things like that, has no life off of social media, dictate my life. You know what they said the next day? The same advocates who are protect black women, they said they were coons. They said that they were pandering, that they were literally like their souls were taken, and also they hope worse happens to them because they didn't fall in line and say that Caitlin Clark needs to be condemned again for her fans. The nastiness that you guys are doing is obvious. I don't understand why you guys do not like her so much. Outside of your jealousy, you're petty, and you're envious of her. Because throughout this, Caitlin Clark has been the most mature person. Not only has she been mature, but she's had to deal with all of this, with you guys giving her these unrealistic expectations that you have for no other player. And I'm going to go ahead and explain the hypocrisy in a moment, right? So after all of that, right? And then they were no longer protecting black women. So I want to say something. Protecting black women isn't only protecting us if we say and do everything you want. If we push your agendas, if we run with your narratives, then we deserve your protection. We are not coons because we like a white player. We are not bad because we support Caitlin Clark. Okay? I don't know how many times there's people who come in my comments and they're like, yo, it's so crazy what we're getting told from black people. We're house ends and all these crazy things, all solely off of the fact that we're like, what is a girl done but hoop? Okay. I'm tired. I am tired of having these videos, but I'm also wanting to let you guys know, and I want you guys to really follow this timeline, because I'm going to break down this timeline of everything they've done. Everything they attempted to do and continue to attempt to do, even so much as the awards roll out. It's already been leaked that Caitlin Clark is the Rookie of the Year, as well as Nafisa Collier is the Defensive Player of the Year. We already know that Dejanay Carrington was the most improved, and then A'ja Wilson, of course, is the unanimous MVP, right? The WNBA still hasn't actually announced it. They're doing everything in their power to just try to dismiss the awards for the rest of them, because they wanted A'ja Wilson to get her moment. That's what one of the people covering it said. A'ja deserved her moment for unanimous MVP. Cool. Days went by, then they finally did the most improved player. Okay. Most improved player to me was Kennedy Carter, but you know, Dejanay Carrington was the most vocal about saying little snide comments about Caitlin Clark, or voicing how Fever fans were, you know, the worst and things like that. So, hey, Dejanay Carrington, who blocks everybody if they call her out on her narcissist and ignorance, guess what? It worked. Your campaign to be against Caitlin helped you in your not that great numbers over where Kennedy Carter did get what you deserved. You wanted the most improved. Now improve your attitude. Try that next. Anyways, back to my point. So then I'm like, this is insane what they're doing. And again, the reason why it's hypocrisy is because I just learned recently that there's a person on WNBA Twitter, and their name is Dolores. Dolores is a man who is just the most disgusting, vile, person you'll ever come across. He is so disgusting. He has called WNBA players derogatory names. He calls fans derogatory names. He talks down on everybody who doesn't agree with him. He continues to campaign, bully, harass Sabrina Ionescu. He was the leader in that. Then this year, he went from liking Caitlin Clark then to seeing she was a threat. So he started bullying her and throwing a campaign against her. And he's just disgusting. He gets into spaces, and that's a Twitter thing, where he's discussed for hours, nothing on the basketball topics, but just throwing slander and harassing, bullying, and doing crazy things to actual other WNBA players.
This choice to show a white woman to your black ass so you could get your ass up on here and coon for a bitch. They was gonna do that because they knew your coon ass was gonna do it. And when you talk about supply and demand, don't tell me about no shit if your Negro ass don't got.
He called Kelsey Mitchell, Erica Wheeler, coons. He calls fans names. He's just the most disgusting, vile person that you ever probably come across. And guess who he's friends with? He's friends with the best player in the WNBA, A'ja Wilson. And yes, people are going to be like, oh, that's not A'ja Wilson's problem that she can't tell him to stop. Oh, no. Oh, no. Remember, Caitlin Clark needs to get up there every time, and she has to condemn fans. She has to control her fans. So then tell me this. Why is A'ja Wilson's friend, and I have already showed you guys a clip where you see this man knows A'ja Wilson, able to get away with bullying, harassing, saying derogatory things about WNBA players, and just being a disgusting human being. And on top of that is a child beater, was literally arrested and jailed for beating a child. Has one of the biggest voices in the WNBA community. Why? Because he has an association with Asia Wilson. The same people who sit in those spaces and let him say these nasty things, and they do not speak up, they do not say nothing, they do not even correct him most of the time because they're actually super scared of what Dolores might do. Why are they scared? It's not even just that they're only scared, but they want that connection with Asia Wilson. So they'll let him get away with any and everything and say crazy shit. Crazy things and stuff, right? But they don't say, Asia, your friend, your actual friend, someone you know, you need to come in here, step in, and defend these players that he's harassing, bullying, and you need to speak up and say something about it. Now, granted, they want Caitlyn to go online and defend these trolls, people she doesn't know, people who are just using her name to either be racist, disgusting, or just say and troll and do vile things. She's responsible for that, but not Asia Wilson for her own friend. Do you understand what hypocrisy is, people? Do you not get it yet? And then with all of this going on, all of this nastiness, all these campaigns against Caitlyn all year, all of these players blaming her for her fans, all these players being nasty to her, the fact that they were flagrant fouls, I think it was 22% of the flagrant fouls were on Caitlin Clark. No one wanted to discuss things with her. There was a whole video where Cheryl Miller said she was at the All-Star game because she was her coach for the All-Star game. And she came up to her and she hugged her and she said something encouraging to Caitlyn. And Caitlyn was like, finally someone on my side.
And I gave her the biggest hug that I could. And when she saw me, she's like, oh man, finally somebody I see that's on my side.
Right, they could relate.
She was getting hit with everything left and right. And I just said, I hugged her. I said, I'm so proud of you. I go, savor this. Use this as a formula. I said, but keep being you. I said, no matter.
No one asks this girl what she's going through. No reporter asks her, how has this season been? You're 22 years old and you got everybody on you for things you can't control. You don't even come on social media. You don't even speak hardly. And when you do, you're apologizing for something that someone else did to you. You're apologizing for your friend. She's having to play on when she gets hit in the eyes hard or pushed around or whatever else. She's expected then to just, never complain. And then when she shows any emotion, she's a school shooter because that's what somebody said. No one spoke up for her. No one defended her. No one ever does. They just tell her that because you're so good at basketball and you're getting all this attention and all this viewerships, and we've had the hugest, biggest season ever reported in history, your problem is we don't like the attention that you've brought in because we couldn't do it. And as opposed to us being able to be vets or professionals, we've decided we are going to continue to push these negative narratives towards you. And you've done nothing wrong. No one cares about her mental health. No one asks her, Caitlyn, how are you taking this? And then you have other people like Jamil Hill who says and assumes Caitlyn Clark is not being harassed because she didn't deactivate her socials. Are you dense? Are you dumb? Are you really that crazy? This girl is walking around with a bodyguard because she's being harassed constantly. You guys were just saying not even a week ago how, see, she liked Taylor Swift's picture, and all these people who are racist, MAGAs, and different things like that came in and they were like, oh, you are not supposed to do that. Stick to basketball. Caitlyn, you're not on to. And they were saying how the racists had harassed her and changed it all up, right? To only then say she's not getting harassed. It's tiring. It's sickening. You guys are disgusting human beings. And you know what you're doing, and you know these expectations are unrealistic, but you don't care because you're nasty and you know what you're doing. You know that this girl has done nothing wrong. Do better. And if you can't do better, then just shut up. I'm so sorry for the end of this video. I've never seen nothing like what they've done to this girl. And not no one cares or thinks what she's gone through. You guys can leave your comments. Keep it cute, as I always say. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing it. And you guys know what? Give Caitlyn credit for being the most immature in this entire situation, while all these other grown-ass women act like they're kids. Jealous little kids. Peace.